and strong. Talking Tigers all morning long. Saints exceed headlines on the screen. Breaking it down with a little caffeine. Grab your mug, come on in. Let's wake this day and let it begin. It's morning scone. Everybody on. Coffee's hot and the news is strong. Purple gold, black and gold. Stories waiting to be told from Baton Rouge to New Orleans. Talking sports and everything between. Wake up, smile, let's get it on. Start your day with morning scone. It's morning scone. Everybody on. Coffee's hot and the news is strong. Purple gold, black and gold. Stories waiting to be told from Baton Rouge to New Orleans. Talking sports and everything between. Wake up, smile, let's get it on. Start your day with morning scone. Where the coffee's hot, the takes are hotter.
Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. Need an orthopedist? You go to Brock. Need a roof? Parish Construction and Roofing. Unique physique, unique aesthetics and wellness. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. And FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake Championship Health Partner of LSU Athletics. Good morning, y'all. Draft day is here for MLB. Pretty fired up for it. We're going to get a real good sense after, well, we won't really know until after Sunday what the LSU baseball roster is fully going to look like, right? Because we'll have rounds 1 through 4. They changed this up. It used to be that they changed it a bunch over the years, but in recent years they had done like the first round on Sunday night, like as a primetime event, and then on Monday did the rest of the draft, or Tuesday did the rest of the draft. And I know because that's what's happening like around the All-Star weekend, and while we were at SEC Media Days is when that would go down. And so they've changed it now, going like Saturday, Sunday, but rounds 1 through 4 today, and then the remainder of the draft will be on Sunday. So remember, the top 10 rounds are really what you got to focus on, because the top 10 rounds are the draft pool rounds. So every team has their bonus pool of money to spend, but they have to spend it on those first 10 rounds. You can't spend the draft pool money outside of the top 10 rounds. And if you don't spend it, you lose it. So effectively, what we say all the time is if you hear a player's name called in those first 10 rounds, they have agreed to a contract. They are signing. It is done. So we know, look, Derek Curiel is going to be a top 15 pick. Kylie McDaniel's latest mock draft has him 7 to Baltimore. Jake Brown is expected to be a top 50 pick. He'll be gone. We know that as well. As far as the signees, the high school guys, this is really where the focus is going to be today. So like Logan Schmidt, big lefty out of California, he's gone. Malachi Washington, gone. Murphy, Santorelli, Roberson, likely all gone. And then the guys we're keeping an eye on, I know Jay's hopeful for Jensen Hirschkorn. I'm not. He'll probably get $2.5 million. We'll see what he does. Will Adams, I'm looking at my notes here. Cooper Sides, Spencer Evans. I say Will Adams, Colby Stringer, Luke Tucker, a couple of names worth keeping an eye on over the next couple days. But the big one today, big ones today, I would tell you, are Hirschkorn and Stringer in particular. Two pitchers to see if you can get them to campus. Now, the fantastic news for LSU last night is that Lucas Nawrocki withdrew from the draft. Now, Nawrocki is someone who we've talked about. If you caught my draft preview episode on Locked On, if I talked about it. Anyway, I'll play it for you here. This was my take on Nawrocki from my draft preview episode. We're talking about the other left-handed pitcher. That's Lucas Nawrocki, who we talked about. Now, Nawrocki is 5'11", 197. He's out of Aledo, Texas. This is what LSU has going for it with Lucas Nawrocki. First of all, he's 95 from the left side. He would contribute right away at LSU, and he has excellent command. What LSU has going for it is he's small. There is no projection on his body. Remember, scouts at the professional level are looking for projectability. They're looking at, okay, will you grow into your body? Will the power come? What tools are there that are raw that you can develop? That's what they want. When you're 5'11", that's it. You're 5'11". You're not going to be 6'3". So scouts look at Nawrocki and they don't necessarily look at someone that they think is going to become 6'3", develop multiple pitches, gain more velo on his fastball. But he is a tough kid. Attitude is what all the scouts say about him. And when you think about what LSU was a year ago, they lacked strike throwers, and they, aside from Gavin Guidry, lacked really intense guys on the mound. Nawrocki checks those boxes. Now he's 95 from the left side, so there is a chance he signs, but this is one LSU is fingers crossed hoping they get to campus. So that was my take when I recorded that episode a day ago, and then a few hours after I recorded that, Nawrocki withdrew from the draft. So awesome news for Jay Johnson and LSU getting Lucas Nawrocki to campus. So, all right, let's smash the like button. Let's say some good mornings. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Antonio, good morning. I wonder if LSU Athletics, through a third party like NILSU Max, could float an IPO to raise capital. Not through Max. I don't think that's the direction they're going. Hey, Thomas, good morning. Shabbat Shalom. Take the shot, LSU. Good morning. What's the skinny on this meeting? What's the big secret? Yeah, I don't know that it's necessarily the big secret. It is interesting that I guess that invite would have to go out early enough to allow people the opportunity to plan to attend, but it is going to cause, the ambiguity is going to cause a lot of people to wonder, which is why, my feeling is I don't know that it lasts 3 weeks, right? It something, I'm trying to get it. Something feels like it's going to leak before then, so we'll see. But I think what it will be is it's just got to be some type of creative structure, knowing investments, tax code, the whole thing all together, how to turn investments into revenue, and it's got to be something like that. It's just, you're talking about Dr. Roos, who understands all the ins and outs of that better than anybody. RSP, good morning. Hey, Gunner, huge delay in Nawrocki. Sorry for asking about the draft risks on Morning Scone the morning you released the in-depth Locked On. I wasn't patient enough. All good. I knew that was coming, man, but it's all good. So slept funny, got a crick in my neck. Actually slept funny on vacation. I've had this crick in my neck ever since. So the Locked On, if you're interested, the one that I published yesterday afternoon, I go through every one of LSU signees and kind of give you a quick thumbnail on each of them to tell you who's gone, who they have a chance of keeping, who's for sure coming, and what it means for the roster. Fear the Beard, good morning. Been talking about great steaks lately, and my question is this. Do you use a sous vide to prepare your steaks at home? I put it off for years. I regret every minute. I do not. I'll have to give it a try. I just reverse sear. I do indirect heat for at about 450. I get my grill up to 450. I do indirect heat for about 6 minutes, flip it 6 minutes, and then I baste it in avocado oil and direct heat, super hot, sear, flip, sear off the grill. Hey, Cody, good morning. Will Jay let Nawrocki be a two-way player? If he doesn't, where do you think he's a better fit? So Jay has said, by the way, that Nawrocki will absolutely be a two-way player at LSU. Now, you can't formally talk about those guys till they sign, right? But like off the record stuff. That's the plan. I don't know that there are enough at bats for Nawrocki this year, though. Just look at the lineup that they have, right? I mean, where you're talking about Cerna, Aaron Beatty, Braun, Kurland, Milam, Park, Waters, Angel Laya, and Jason Walks. Like, then there's William Patrick. I just don't know where the ABs are this year. So will he hit some? Yeah, for sure. And by the way, he went to the combine, the MLB Draft combine, and was hitting bombs last week. Nawrocki was. So he's going to be a two-way guy during his career at LSU. But this year, his immediate impact is on the mound, out of the bullpen. Irfan Sayad, good morning. Adam. Morning, Matt. Your birthday was on Wednesday. I was born the day before Thanksgiving. Sometime it falls on Thanksgiving. It's actually November 24th. Have an amazing day. All right, man. Hey, Lance, good morning. Brad, good morning. I watched your Locked On about soccer and never knew about that Nancy Kerrigan story. I watched a documentary about it last night. What a crazy story. Yeah, it's interesting, Brad. So if you're wondering what Brad's referring to, so we got the numbers for the U.S. match against Belgium, and on Fox and Telemundo, it did 50.1 million views. It was the most viewed non-NFL sporting event since the 94 Winter Olympics in Lillehammer, and that, of course, was the Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding saga. So, Brad, I'm glad you said that, because I'm trying to be more mindful to make sure when I talk about things that are 30, 35 years, like I give a lot of context around even 25 years old, because, man, a lot of people who watch and listen are in their teens, 20s, and even 30s, and like they weren't alive or they were babies when stuff like that happened. So, I got to remind myself, like, I'm the old guy in the room now. I'm getting to be. But yes, so I did an overtime video, an overtime with Matt Moscona, about what I think that TV rating means for soccer. We've had that conversation forever. Is this the thing that finally makes soccer break through in America? When you look at some of the stats of young people and what they are watching and playing, you can see how that, like, we're in a moment when we are seeing a shift in consumer behavior in this country when it comes to sports. Check it out. Appreciate it. Shelby, worst thing the college baseball world could have done was given Jay a head start on this roster. Best coach leader of a program in the country. Jacob, good morning, Matt. Getting ready to go to Gatlinburg for the weekend. Only like an hour and a half drive. Okay, Jacob, enjoy. Beautiful. My parents honeymooned in Gatlinburg, actually, back in the day. And it was cool because I got to go a few years back. when my nephew Eli was playing, he was playing baseball. They had a tournament, one of those tournaments up in Gatlinburg that, I think the Cal Ripken facility that a lot of the kids go to. We just did our family vacation that summer in the Smokies instead of at the beach. And anyway, so we had to go through Gatlinburg and went to some of the places that my parents went to when they were on their honeymoon. So that was pretty cool to do. Irfan Sayad, who we watching for the MLB draft today. Yep. So Irfan, I would highly recommend and would really appreciate it if you would go check out my Locked on LSU episode, either podcast or YouTube, that I dropped yesterday, because I go player by player. And it's only like 20 minutes. It's not like a super long episode, but I go player by player and give you the thumbnail and everybody. But Logan Schmidt, Jensen Hirschkorn, Malachi Washington, Murphy Santorelli, Nawrocki is already announced he's coming, Adams, Sides, Colby Stringer. Those are probably the ones you're keeping a close eye on here today. Hey, Kerry, good morning. Survive, good morning. Huge pickup last night. Hard to understate it, especially because we've talked about the need for left-handed pitching. And remember, one of the players LSU went after in the portal that they didn't get was Shane Brenham, the lefty from Michigan who picked Vanderbilt. So the fact that you got Braxton Beatty to pull out of the draft, and now that you got Lucas Nawrocki to pull out of the draft, that's two left-handed pitchers in this signing class for sure that are showing up. And you have some more lefties in this class, but those are two that you think can be immediate impact guys, and certainly Nawrocki will be. Nawrocki was one of the guys that they were going to sweat out here in the draft. Hey, Gunnar, what are you looking forward to about SEC Media Day? So, Gunnar, I haven't necessarily dug in deep yet in my prep. I usually do that like this week as we lead up to Media Days. And I'll always go in with what I think are like some preconceived ideas, and then I'll see if Media Days confirms or disconfirms any of those. So I haven't really gotten into those yet. I'll tell you the most obvious thing, though, is there's 6 new coaches in the league. So last year there were none. There was no coaching turnover at Media Days a year ago. This year there's 6 new coaches. So that I think is the biggest thing, is the opportunity to hear from 6 new coaches in the league. Sorry, just did that one. Let's see. Christian, driving back home from South Padre, took a quick beach trip with the fam. Awesome, man. Hope you all had a great day. Steven, good morning. Why doesn't New Orleans try to get an MLB team? So, yeah, we've had this conversation a ton over the years. A couple things. Number one, you need corporate dollars to support professional franchises who will buy suites and premium seats and all that stuff. And there's not enough corporate dollars in Louisiana. There are more Fortune 500 companies in Dallas than there are in the entire state of Louisiana. I think we have 2 Fortune 500 companies in the state of Louisiana. So there's not enough corporate dollars, number one. Number two, you would have to build a domed stadium because you could not have a baseball team playing outdoors in Louisiana in the summer because it rains every day and it's 110 degrees with the humidity. So you'd have to build a domed stadium. So you'd be talking about $1 billion entity. And there's already enough of an issue in the state that people don't want to subsidize renovations to the Superdome or the Saints or the Pelicans. Like, you want to go build a couple $1 billion baseball stadium? Where? And then, would people support it? So, no, people have asked that forever, and I think it's a terrible idea. And I love baseball, but another professional franchise in Louisiana is a terrible idea. Awesome to get Nawrocki last night. Devin, NIL, boosters donate money. It goes into a collective, and there is no collective anymore. Well, the collective exists, but remember, you can't pay out of the collective to players anymore. The collective exists. The collective does still exist, by the way, but it exists to do high school NIL deals. So the collective can front end high school NIL deals. And then they can do some other creative things like I know there was a lot made of Ed Ogeron's $100,000 salary. He ain't getting $100K. LSU athletics budget is paying him $100K, but I know he's going to be supplemented. I believe that's coming out of the collective. So I think I hate to say it out loud, not know for sure. But suffice to say, he's getting more than $100,000. Ben, no private equity. Again, Ben, I know there's people who push back against that. And here's what I would say to you. Well, two things. Number one, what's being proposed, I do not think is a straight private equity deal. If it's just straight private equity, then that's not the first of its kind revenue opportunity that they described in that letter, right? Because other people have done private equity. So will whatever's being proposed involved in a capital infusion? Most certainly. I don't think it's just a straight private equity deal. But my question that I've asked people like you, Ben, who have pushed back on private equity, said, okay, then give me a solution. Like someone yesterday on Twitter said, well, first you could start just by increasing the revenue share number to $60 to $70 million. Instead, I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't solve your problem. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You still have to commit those funds. And so now if you're going to go up to 60, 70 million in rev share, fine. Well, now you're not going to stop. What are you going to do? You're going to cut sports? You're going to like fire your half of your athletic staff? Like, how are you going to make up that budget differential? Like this is the thing you can't get around. You have to either generate, like this is indisputable. You either have to generate new money, or dramatically cut spending. And I don't know how you dramatically cut spending without eliminating sports altogether. And with Title IX and supporters of certain sports that are non-revenue sports, I don't know how that happens. So you tell me what your creative idea is to generate annually, by the way, not a one-time pop, annually, another $40 million. You tell me how you're going to get $40 million annually like that, in perpetuity. Ben, you have an answer? I'm all. That's not private equity. I'm all ears. And I get it. There's downsides to private equity because that's never passive money. Like they're going to want to say in how operations run. So I get it. But you give me a better alternative. I'm all ears. Seriously, you give me a better alternative. Hey, Abner, good morning. Steven, getting the pool ready. Bo Cox ready. Beer ready for Max to beat the poop out of McGregor tonight. Thanks for starting the weekend morning beer trend. Yummy. Yeah, man. So Eric and I are going to supper club tonight for my birthday, but I should be home in time to see the main card, or at least most of the main card with Conor and Max. So Conor McGregor makes his return to the UFC tonight against Max Holloway in their rematch. Conor has not fought in 5 years. And even when we saw him last, he was on a losing streak. I do not think this is going to be pretty. I think a lot of people are going to bet on Conor McGregor because he's Conor McGregor and he's who they know. And I think Max is easy money. NIL. So boosters donate money to NIL Collective. Then an NIL deal is done on a player, goes to the CDC for approval. Does LSU have any unapproved NIL contracts for football? So again, yeah. So Devin, again, the collective can know. This was the whole thing. This was the whole thing a year ago when you've heard us talk about the House settlement, right? When the House settlement went into effect, the collectives can no longer just pay players. So most schools have shut down their collective. Okay, so yeah, you got to stop thinking of things in terms of the collective because that doesn't happen anymore. Now, your point about this, and not the CDC, the CSC, the Collegiate Sports Commission, that's who goes and approves the deals. So, is my understanding, LSU has not had any deals rejected so far, and that's because LSU was really out front with how they structured everything through NILSU Max and having deliverables set up in place for their guys and girls sports. So there's a big announcement yesterday about Nike. Nike has their back to school campaign. They have 4 LSU athletes on that back to school campaign, but I was told Nike will announce the full roster for this year of LSU athletes Last year it was 10. They might as much as triple that this year. So Nike was very pleased with the LSU NIL deals a year ago. How does Frank Wilson get the St. Aug and the Carr kids? Is there no draw to play at LSU besides his relationship in a bag? So you kind of have to tell me who you're talking about, because the one that everybody wanted last year was the big defensive lineman who ended up going to Southern Cal. And Frank Wilson was the one who got him reclassed and eligible and everything like that. And he still went to Southern Cal because he got the money. So I don't know of any kid from Carr or Aug that LSU wanted that they didn't get him. They got Aiden Hall this year. Jakeem Stewart is the defensive lineman, by the way, I was talking about. You have to tell me who specifically you're talking about. Because sometimes there are guys in the state who maybe have big-time offers from other places that LSU is just not recruiting. I mean, that was a thing for a long time. There was a stretch with a lot of the U High kids, who were leaving the state. And some were coming to campus and some were leaving. And there was this thing like, why are these U High kids leaving LSU? Well, sometimes they didn't have it, like Jordan Clark, Ryan's kid. Went to Arizona State, then to Notre Dame. LSU didn't offer Jordan. He did not have a committable offer. So it's like, what do you do? Hey, Deborah, good morning. Bailey, did you see the Yankees finish last night? I did not, Bailey. Eric and I ordered dinner and put on Netflix. We had a really chill night last night, so I did not put on sports at all last night. Now I'm wondering, do I even want to go see it? They've really been disappointing lately, ever since Judge's injury. Let's see. So they won 12-5 in Washington. Oh, 3-run ninth. Jazz Chisholm homered. Did he homer with a lollipop in his mouth? Y'all saw that story. Hey, Jack. Good morning.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish Built. Parish Built. Parish Built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
All right. Remember, if you need North Peach, go to Brock Rock and Wine, coming up Saturday, August 1st, just around the bend. Get your tickets at brortho.com. Parish Construction Roofing. Terrio and I were on WAFB yesterday morning and promoting our fortified roof giveaway. Remember, not one, but two Louisiana families will win a free fortified roof from Parish Construction Roofing. One in the greater Baton Rouge area, one in the greater New Orleans area. I'll drop the link in here where you can go to enter. It's the homepage of the website. When you're at the homepage, there's two shields. One says Baton Rouge roof giveaway. One says New Orleans roof giveaway. Click whichever one applies to you and enter. Unique physique, unique aesthetics and wellness. Remember, lowest prices, never any contracts. Uniquephysique.com. Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Use code MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. We got it. We knocked out a full box of Bocock Brothers cigars at the beach. Me, father-in-law, brothers-in-law over our week there. So it's about time I restock. And, of course, FMOL Health, our Lady of the Lake championship health partner of LSU Athletics. I got a sneak peek yesterday. I'm not going to show you, but I got a sneak peek yesterday at some of the ads that are coming out with a lot of the LSU football players, including Sam Levitt, with the Lake. I've told y'all for a while now the Lake did NIL deals with 23 LSU football players for this coming season, and lot of really cool stuff they have planned. So LSU Athletics, trust the Lake. I trust the Lake. You should trust the Lake as well. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Let's see. Robbie, good morning. I took your advice and I love it. I got out of bed, stood on solid ground, said thank you, Jesus, because I have another day of life. Hey, good to go. Robbie, it's the best way to start your day, man. From the second you open your eyes, start positive inputs into your brain. You'll be amazed at how it reshapes your attitude mindset to start the day. I know what sous vide is. Come on, man. I'm the grammaticist. You don't think I was kidding? Gerald Loner. Morning, Matt. I arrived late. How many rounds are picked today? 1 through 4. So MLB Draft today starts at noon Central, rounds 1 through 4. Gumptious, good morning from Canal Street. I know. I'm well aware. Would he be in the DH role? No. So if you're talking about so if you're talking about Nawrocki, we're talking about Lucas Nawrocki. Oh, I need to catch up. I'm really behind on comments. Sorry, y'all. So Lucas Nawrocki is a two-way player. He will pitch for LSU as a freshman. You asked about DH. No, that's going to be Cerna, right? Aaron Beatty will catch. Cerna will DH. Mike says, I heard Aaron Beatty is gone. Is that true? Unequivocally false. The transfer portal window is closed. Aaron Beatty never entered the portal. He's your starting catcher. He'll probably bat third or fourth in the lineup with he and Cerna. No, I don't know who said Aaron Beatty is gone. He's not gone. Tiger fan, good morning. What's the age on that old Fitz behind you? It's an 8-year. And I've been fortunate enough to have all of the old, I shouldn't say all, but a lot of the old Fitzes. And even like the 15-year. And I believe the sweet spot is 9. 9, I think, is the best one I've had. But this right here is Old Fitz. Beautiful bottle, by the way, if you're not familiar with Old Fitzgerald. Cool Full Dog. Marcus Spears Jr. signed with Texas. Thoughts? Well, he hasn't signed yet. He committed, and he reclassified. The only thing maybe that's a little surprise is the reclass. So he was a 2028. So he was supposed to be going into his senior year. So, but because he's only 17 in the new 5-for-5 rule, he has to spend 2 years in college now. So I guess he'll get paid in college for 2 years instead of spending another year in high school on the elite circuit. So he'll spend 2 years at Texas and then be off to the draft. I think the only reason LSU is in the mix is because his dad's from Baton Rouge and played at LSU. So, I listen, if Marcus Spears Jr. had picked Texas over LSU for football, I think we'd all be kind of bummed. But because it's basketball, I think we kind of understand. LSU's basketball history is not very good. And if you're Will Wade, I think you got to decide what you're willing to spend and where you're willing to spend. So, all right, hang on. Drew's awake. Hang on.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
You see Dad's show? Oh my goodness, look. You want to come sit in Daddy's chair and say hi?
Hi,
You want to sit in Daddy's chair and say hi to Dad's show?
I did that to Wilka.
Okay.
Daniel say it.
Say hi to Dad's show, Erica. Are you so excited?
So excited,
Okay.
Wilka. Daniel say
So excited, Erica. All right, what are you doing today?
it.
All right. Drew's up. Wanted to get his backpack started. All right. Let's see. Connor beat the brakes off of Max. Already beat him once half a decade ago. Ring rust is a real thing. 5 years out of the fight game is an eternity. And by the way, okay, buddy. And by the way, the odds on this fight. Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. The odds on this fight are Holloway is a minus 285 favorite. Connor is plus 230 underdog. Is a massive. Max is a massive favorite in this fight. 5 years without fighting. Ben, everybody was supposed to be a two-way guy. Jake Brown, Guidry, Skeens, but Nawrocki is a two-way guy in a meaningful way. Doubt Nawrocki is a two-way guy. Maybe so. I think the difference. Okay. All right, hang on. I have to go get Drew's iPad for him. I don't want to make you listen to the Parish jingle again. So how about this one? Just a little interlude. I'll be right back. All right. My apologies. Hope you enjoyed the musical interlude there for a moment. Sorry about that. But I appreciate everybody for hanging on who did. Dustin, Tyga Poppy, good morning. Devin, reverse here seems like a bit of overhandling it to me. Salt and pepper heavily on the grill, 5 7 minutes each side. Pat, but I don't do the butter. I think that's just a bit of texture. I love to sear the outside of the steak. I love that part, the textured part of the steak. It's like as delicious as and tender as Wagyu is. Like one of the reasons I love like a dry aged New York strip that's reverse seared. Whew. I love the texture of that steak as much as I do the flavor. Anyway. Devin, SCB Days isn't open to the public, right? Correct. Shouldn't put it bag. Brad, do you and Erica ever go to Rufino's for special occasions anymore? Just supper club? I remember you used to always go there. Yeah, we still go to Rufino's all the time. Those are really our two spots. Either we go to Rufino's, which is near our house, or we go to supper club. As a matter of fact, on my actual birthday, on Wednesday when we got back in town, we had Rufino's for dinner. I'm making Drew's feed here, so I'll do this while we chat. Hey, Michael, good morning. Don't forget to go back and hype the video. The more you hype the video, the more the algorithm puts the video in more folks' For You page. I'm very much appreciative. Yeah, like the video, all that sort of stuff. Very appreciative. Let's see if this works. So, I'm gonna prime this thing. That's how you prime it. Anyway, next. Hey, Lowell, good morning. Bailey, meeting with some friends later to watch fight. How bad is Conor losing? Yeah, I'm not surprised at the guy who's just like, Conor's going to win. He already beat Max 1. Like most people who aren't fight fans, like it was the same thing with, it's always the same thing with some of those celebrity fighters. It was like the same thing with Ronda as well. We just gotten to a point in fights where the talent is so good, the rosters are so deep, and it's like I think back to some of the early fights, like guys who used to be stars in MMA, Rampage, Chuck Liddell, early trailblazers of that sport, like they would not get a UFC contract today. Like they would be annihilated in 2 seconds by the 50th ranked guy in their division. It's just the depth of the sport, the amount of people who are great athletes who are training younger now. It's just it's incredible for the sport and the evolution of it, but it's become so hard now to be an elite dominant fighter because everybody now is multidisciplined. Everybody is athletic and strong. And the UFC has put on so many events because they got to get all these fighters work. I mean, got to get them all fights. And so they do events every weekend to get everybody fights. And as a result, you'll see really good fighters that just never break through. Even if they get a UFC contract, they just never break through into being contenders. It's just a completely different game. I mean, the quality of fighter today is amazing, and it's awesome to see someone who loves the sport. But it makes it very tough for someone like Conor, who's out for 5 years. And even, I mean, you think about the evolution of the sport over the last 5 years. And he hasn't fought in 5 years. I mean, the great thing about MMA is, or one of the great things is, you could always be a punch away. I mean, so could Conor go in there and sneak one and sleep Max? Sure, could. Is it likely? No. Patrick, perfect timing for draft day. LSU baseball somehow turned. Will he sign into a full contact sport? Great breakdown, Matt. You got it. Well, Patrick, in fairness, I do that episode every year. I have conversations with my scout buddies, those people who I'm closest to. And it's one of the things that I think most people maybe aren't familiar with is just how much the regional scouts factor into the draft, because there's so many prospects. So a big league team basically gets on a teleconference if they can't have all their scouts in one place during the draft, and it's like, okay, who do you got here, and how much are you willing to pay him as part of the bonus pool, and what can we get him for, and all that sort of stuff. So scouts are a huge part of the draft process. and drafting. It's not like in the NFL where you have like the GM and the head coach and like the assist. Like the regional scouts are a huge part of that because they're the ones who are actually like in cars on the road every day going to watch, this high school baseball prospect, that JUCO prospect, this showcase event, that, you know what I mean? So it's an interesting thing. Does Marcus Spears live in Texas or Louisiana? Texas. They live in Dallas. Gunner, Jake Brown was a higher-ranked lefty pitcher than Cade in 24. Guidry was offered 7 figures out of high school as a shortstop. It's crazy to see what ends up happening with these two-way guys. Good to the person who mentioned like Skeens and Brown. I think the difference is like Skeens was obvious, right? Because his acceleration as a pitcher nullified the need for him to hit. It wasn't worth the risk. Jake Brown, played in 56. I looked it up yesterday. 56 games as a freshman, I think, with 21 starts. And it's really hard to pitch in college if you're not getting mound time. And you're not training to pitch. So I agree with you. It is a rarity to see the two-way guy. And if I just don't know that there are ABs for Nawrocki as a freshman because I think the lineup is so set already. But in 2028, there could certainly be opportunities as a lefty reliever or first base DH, right? Matt, if you ever decide to visit Asheville, plenty of good place to eat. Got to check out the Biltmore estate as well. I would love to go to Biltmore. Devin, only way an MLB franchise works in NOLA is if they would have done that instead of doing an NBA franchise. The fact there's an NBA team here makes it impossible to add an MLB team to that. Yeah, and the other thing, too, is you had New Orleans Arena, right, at the time, which is now Smoothie King Center. And you could use it for multi-purpose. You could use it for concerts and other things like that. Like you build a baseball stadium, you have 81 games there a year. What else do you do with it the rest of the year? The other 200 days out of the year. 240 days out of the year, whatever. Hey, Robbie, you going to watch MLB Home Run Derby and All-Star Game? Probably not, honestly. Don't have a ton of interest. Bailey, I love sports. I want to like soccer, but it bores me. I think I'd enjoy going to a match, though. Same, Bailey. Soccer does not appeal to me. And during the last World Cup, actually the 2014 World Cup, you could kind of sense momentum growing. I was like, I need to start to understand this. And then Premier League started airing on NBC on Saturday mornings. And so I was like, I would get up on Saturday mornings and watch Premier League to try to get into it. And I just tried, couldn't. It's just, I don't know. I'll put it this way, if my audience, like if the Louisiana audience that I broadcast to every day starts to have a deep level care and love for soccer, I'll figure out how to care about it and talk about it. Because I talk about what y'all want to talk about, not what I want to talk. I'd say it all the time. I love MMA. I don't talk about MMA on my show. Now, if Dustin Poirier or Daniel Cormier, like Louisiana guys, are fighting, talk about that, But like, I didn't break down Connor and Max on AFR. Brad, who's your favorite MLB player to watch growing up? Ryan Sandberg.
What you?
Flip shades, number 23, power hitting second baseman. So cool. Hey, come see. We got to do your backpack and your meds. Come see. And then after backpack, we're going to go to Daddy's work. Ride the elevator. Come see. Come see.
Well, hey, welcome.
Ben, private equity is not a solution. Suicide. You have to come together, control spending with salary caps like pro sports. That's what this is, this point. Ben, that's okay. Hold on, Ben. So that sounds good in theory, okay? However, it's not, okay? Ben, don't go anywhere. I don't want to miss this point. Oh, hey, welcome to Sesame Street. See, you can say it's pro sports, admit what it is, blah, blah. That's fine. But legally, wait, come here. But legally, Ben, it is not pro sports. You cannot put salary cap in place because remember, these are not contracts that are paid employees. These are name, image, and likeness deals for marketing purposes. Now you can roll your eyes at that, but structurally, that's what that is. Why, Erica? So you can sit there and say that you want a salary cap in place and we got to control spending and all that stuff. That's fine. What, baby?
Drink the water.
Drink that water. Hang on, we got to put it in your backpack.
Drink that hot. Hey, welcome Sesame Street. That. Okay, welcome Sesame.
Come see. Oh, hey, welcome to Sesame Street. Here you go. Wait, we gotta tie you up. Hang on. Wait. Crazy. Wait. Hey, I told you, wait, we got it on your backpack. Hang on. Almost done. Crazy. All right, hang on. Almost done.
It's okay.
Hey, can you count to 10?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Slower.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, all done. Off you go. Now iPad. Okay. Okay, so back to Ben. Because Ben was the one who said no private equity. And I said, okay, I may even agree with you, but then you have to give me a solution. And you're saying private equity is not a solution. Okay, give me the solution. So if you're saying control spending with salary caps like pro sports, because that's what it is, Ben, but it's not. Okay. Now, you and I may agree on the framework of what that looks like, but legally, those athletes are, number one, they're not employees. In the past, athletes have tried to unionize, and they have been rejected when they tried to unionize.
So, enough for basketball. There you go.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Very good.
Go watch your iPad.
Very good.
After backpack, we go to Daddy's work, ride the elevator. Okay? All right. So, in the past, Ben, they've tried to unionize, and courts have rejected that attempt to unionize. So these are not employees, so therefore they're not being paid salaries. The money they are getting is marketing deals. So you can't cap what someone is worth in what market value, or control what market value is and what someone's worth in a marketing deal. It's what someone's willing to pay. So flatly, Ben, in that respect, you're wrong. Like you can say we got to treat it like pro sports. It's a much higher level conversation that you don't seem willing to have. That's the first part of that. So, all right, you want to control spending. Okay, great. Let's control spending. So LSU last year generated LSU athletics revenue 2025. LSU generated $223.4 million. And this was 2025 fiscal year. With expenses at $219 million. So they had a $3.8 million surplus. That was 25. What, baby? Little baby bum cat.
That one?
There you go. There you go. Okay. We'll see you later. Ha. Play mat. Thank you. Okay, so in fiscal 25, so the 24-25 school year, okay, a $3.8 million surplus. Excuse me. If you need to spend, and by the way, you're going to be upside down on that number this year, and you need to find an additional $40 million for your roster, for your football roster, whatever it is. Okay. Now you want to add $40 million to that. Well, guess what? Now you're $40 million underwater in the red for next year. Okay. Where are you going to get that money? You want to cut. Okay. What are you going to cut? You want to cut sports altogether? Let's go cut track and field and volleyball and tennis and golf. Well, now you got a Title IX issue. And you also have an NCAA issue because you have to be competing in so many sports to be a sanctioned athletic department under the NCAA. Division One's a minimum of 16 sports. Okay, so you have to have a minimum of 16 sports to be compliant in and to maintain NCAA membership. So you want to go cut golf and okay, great. So you cut all those sports that I just mentioned. You save $10 million. You're still nowhere close to the number you need to pay for your football roster. And by the way, when you cut those sports, like this is a one-time deal. Where are you going to generate the revenue year over year? That's what you're not getting. Like you have got to find ways to generate new revenue, massive amounts of new revenue, which isn't as easy as saying, let's increase ticket prices and ask our donors for money. You got to find new creative revenue streams. I'm not telling you it's a great solution. I'm just telling you the adults in the room who for years kept growing college athletics to this multi-billion-dollar annual industry are the one and kept stuffing their pockets are the ones that created this mess. And now they have to find a way out of it because there's no way the players are going to go back to not making money. Hey, Alex, good morning. Devin, happy birthday. Who won the first Holloway Leprechaun fight? Was a decision TKO. No, Connor knocked him out. Kelly, Johnny, Alex, do you know when the new LSU Bocock cases should be ready? Do you know when the new LSU boxes will be ready? Question mark. They're awesome. I'm not going to show it to you out of respect for the Bococks who have shown me the what do you call it? Not the sketch. Whatever. I've seen it. I just, but I'm sure they're going to want to have a big reveal and all, and it's awesome, by the way. Michael, good morning. Visiting Baton Rouge today from Central Arkansas. Any suggestions with toddlers? Staying on government, drove right by Guarantee building earlier. Okay, so you're on government. So Knock Knock Museum is great for kids, and it's right off Dalrymple by LSU's campus. I would definitely recommend Knock Knock Museum. There's also a dog park right next. It's a Raising Cane's dog park right next to Knock Knock Museum. Mike the Tiger's cage. Can't go wrong going to look at a big tiger, right? The zoo is in Baker. So you could, from where you are, you could hop on the interstate and be there in 15 minutes if you feel like making that drive. Let's see. Bocock, planning on having them launch around August 13th, the LSU boxes. Should have some ready in the States by then. Could talk about opening pre-sale beginning of August, though. Cool. Cool. Yeah, Michael, hope that helps. And then trying to think restaurants with toddlers. You know what's cool? So Mid-City Beer Garden is on Government Street, right there in Mid-City. And they do have, it's like an outdoor, like a pergola, right, over the outdoor space. So, and it's, the food's great, and they got a million different types of beers if you like that sort of thing. And I don't know that your kids could run around, but you don't necessarily have to be like super quiet. You know, that's a good place maybe for lunch. What else is over in your area? But yeah, man, Knock Knock Museum, the dog park, Mike the Tiger's cage. Gosh, you can just go around campus, man. Campus is beautiful. Hey, Michael, good morning. Ralph, old man brother, I remember wearing parachute pants. Oh. Love it. Man. That's so good. Yeah, man. My first memories were I had a Hodson for Heisman poster in 1989. So my earliest LSU football memories were the 6 straight losing seasons from 89 to 94. Welcome to LSU fandom. Hey, Chance, how was the Samorlin working? What's the difference with Tessamorlin? So I've never taken Tessamorlin, and I did one cycle of Sermorlin. I'm off right now. So what they recommend is like 8 weeks on, then cycle off, then 8 weeks on, cycle off. And they typically say usually would take like 2 or 3 cycles to really notice a difference. So very candidly, my first cycle, I can't tell you that I noticed a real big difference with Sermorlin. But again, it's one of those things where they do say it should be about 2 or 3 cycles to notice the difference. So I'll give me a little more time and I'll be able to tell you more. Bro Bible headline today: LSU organizes mysterious meetup with top boosters admitting it's gone broke. Okay. Tiger Poppy, good morning. Devin, seemed like you got up a little tenderly there, Matthew. Visit Crystal. Yes. So sleeping in a hotel bed for basically 2 weeks in New York and then at the beach is not good for my back and not good for my neck. I slept, and I told Erica too when we got out of the car at the beach, I was like, I wanted to bring my pillow. Bring my pillow, Erica. And I paid for it. So yes, I actually need to text Crystal. I woke up this morning. I was like, is it too early to text her at 8 a.m.? I definitely need it before I go to. So I have this week here, and then next week we're in Tampa at SC Media Days. I'll have 5 nights in a hotel room, and so I'm like, or 4 nights in a hotel room. Like I have got to see Crystal before I go. What up, G? Steven, let's see some grinning and a picking nut. What does that mean? What, buddy? I got my pillow, Erica. Hey, Ralph, let's see. Ran into Bama fan this week. Seemed very concerned that we have Kiffin. Robert, Matt, I'm nowhere close to a fight fan. Why is Connor coming back? Pure ego or financial trouble? I don't know that I would say financial trouble. Remember, Connor's fight with Floyd alone netted him $100 million. I shouldn't say netted. Earned him $100 million. They had taxes and all this stuff. Let's see. Conor McGregor career earnings. Conor has made his earnings from fighting alone exceed $235 million. His total lifetime earnings with endorsements, business ventures. I remember he owned Proper 12 whiskey, which he sold. They're saying that's approaching $1 billion. So I don't think Connor's coming back specifically because he needs the cash. Now, I'm certain he'll walk away with a bag from this fight. But it's probably that. One thing I know about fighters, man, it's not that dissimilar from any pro athlete. Like, it's hard to walk away. It's hard to walk away, man. When you've done something your whole life and you're still a relatively young person, it's hard to walk away from it. And I think it doesn't matter if you're Conor McGregor, if you're, a young person fighting, trying to earn a spot consistently on a roster. Let's see. Go Tigers. I think Dabo ends up at Bama soon. What, as an assistant, as an analyst? Bennett, and we're supposed to be a two-way guy. Oh, we talked about that one. Never had a dry age steak. What's the major difference? So when you dry age a steak, the concept is it packs the flavor in over those 40 days or for however long that it's dry aged. And it will change the texture of a steak as well, which I love. Now, it's not like beef jerky or anything, but I love the texture of a dry aged steak as well. Drew's feed like he's livestock. Well, he is. We can call it breakfast. I mean, he's not eating it. It's going through his feeding tube. I mean, he is being fed It's his feed. It's his morning feed. It's what it is. I mean, I'm not making him waffles. I'm putting formula in a bag and pumping it through a button in his stomach. Carrie, good morning. Guys, Clueless is an avid UFC fan, casual at best. If Conor wins, it'll be a massive upset. Would be cool to see it happen. Not very likely. I don't know that I'm necessarily cheering for Conor in this fight. I like Conor. He's so much fun to watch. He's amazing for the sport. I don't know that it's great that someone who's been out for 5 years comes back and is immediately dominant. So anyway. If Matt had his way, he would talk about bourbon and Gary Vaynerchuk. No, I'd expand my horizons a bit because you're forgetting all my health content as well. So Gary Brecka, huge Gary Brecka guy, cold plunging, peptides, genetic methylation tests, all the good stuff therein. But I love MMA. I love collegiate gymnastics. Told y'all that before. When my nieces were doing gym, our family kind of collectively got bitten by the gymnastics bug. And so I've gotten to know Jay Clark pretty well over the years. And so I really cheer for his program. But we don't talk a ton of gymnastics, obviously, right? So there's a lot of things that I like that I don't talk about because my job isn't to do a show of things that I'm interested in. It's to do a show of things you all want to hear about collectively. So let's see. Ben, rather not do a deal with private equity and be terrible for a bit and wait it out while private equity cannibalizes other programs over 5 years than be the last program standing. That's just not going to happen. And it's also not in any way a realistic outcome to say you're not going to be good. We're just not going to be good for 5 years. Like the LSU football brand is like, Ben, LSU chose to eat $54 million than to proceed with Brian Kelly, a guy who had multiple 10-win seasons, a Heisman Trophy winner, but had great expectations going into this year, had lost 3 games by the midway point of the season, was blown out in the second half against A&M, and the next day he's gone. Like that goes to tell you the appetite for being irrelevant in football at LSU. It's a non-starter. Football has to be great because football floats the entire thing. So there is no option to be irrelevant in football. Any word on getting an MLS team in New Orleans? Let's help me have some interest in soccer with FC Dallas. Not that I've heard of. I know they are redoing the Shrine on Airline, the old Zephyr Field. So to reconfigure it, because right now it's configured as a baseball stadium. So it's weird. They have football and rugby and stuff there, but the seating is like baseball. So they're reconfiguring that. I know that. But I don't know what they're going to host there. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Chalowski to the White Sox. Yeah, I mean, it's him or who's the high school kid? Forgive me. I don't know all the high school kids at the top of the draft. My apologies. But it seems like it'll be Rock Chalowski or Grady Emerson. That's him. Yeah. So Kylie McDaniel has Chalowski to the White Sox, number 1, and Emerson, number 2 to Tampa. By the way, he's got Derek Curry 7 to the Orioles. That'd be incredible. Let me see where he's picking. Is he scrolling through this here? trying to find. By the way, that's an interesting one. So Cam Flukie, remember from Coastal Carolina, who went in the portal. Flukie he's got him at 25, so that's one that very likely is never going to end up on a college campus again. So I'm looking for Schmidt, where he's got Logan Schmidt and obviously Jake Brown. So let's see, there's 7:30. So all right, so Kylie McDaniel has Logan Schmidt 38 to the Rockies. Let's see, MLB Draft slot values. So 38. And remember, I told you, if you go in the top 10 rounds, you've already agreed to a deal. 38 is the Rockies. It's the first pick around 2. It's $2.6 million. So Logan Schmidt, he'll be gone. Taylor Rave. Hang on, let me find Jake Brown. He's got Jake Brown 65 to the Mariners. Boy, that handmade bone injury. There was a time at this point in the season where Brown was ahead of Curiel in a lot of those projections, and then the handmade bone. 65 is the Mariners at $1.3 million. Let me see. Oh, Santorelli. It's got Santorelli 41. That's an LSU signee. So Santorelli at 41 would be $2.4 million. Santorelli is the left-handed Bear Jones. Big dude, power rating first, DH first baseman. He's left-handed. Let's see. Abel Bryant. I'm trying to see if I'm going quickly or just scanning this to see if there's any others that I see. Volchko. There's Jake Brown. 65. Okay. That's it. In the top 75 picks. He does. Oh, look at this. He notes a handful of players, including Jensen Hirschhorn, are real threats to end up in college. Boy, that'd be huge. Boy, if they get Hirschhorn after getting Nawrocki yesterday, God, that would be huge. Anyway, okay, we'll keep an eye on it. Hey, Ben, let the kids unionize. Shame about the courts. Well, you go have a conversation with the Supreme Court. Do you ever appear on Locked On SEC? Sometimes they ask me when they do. I'll go on. Let's see. Good morning. Do you ever appear? Oh, sorry. Did that one? LMFAO. You want to put some scratch in? I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Hang on. So Tiger fan said Tessa Moreland is fantastic and melts visceral fat. FDA approved it for that indication. Interesting. Let's see. Good morning. Bring your pillow, Tim. I need to, man. But I'm not going to fly with it. So, Steven, guitar. What about my guitar? What's wrong with my guitar? Devin, I know it's not convenient, but I bring a 4-inch mattress foam topper for work travels. That's definitely not convenient. Morning, Matt and Drew. What up, G? Coming in from the Best Bank. There you go. I would rather lose than have private equity. I get we would be mediocre. At least LSU would have power over its own product. Again, I want to say this again. Like, I'm not endorsing private equity. Okay? I want to be clear. I'm not endorsing private equity. I'm saying two things. One is you have to have some type of capital infusion. Like, there has to be new revenue. You're losing money. Everyone keeps saying it's not sustainable, but in a literal sense, it is not. You can't keep increasing 100% year over year what you're paying athletes if you're not increasing revenue or cutting expenses. Like, this is just basic math. So you have to go find new revenue streams. So someone give me one. I'm waiting. Just someone give me a new revenue stream, right? So I'm not endorsing private equity. I'm saying you have to get new revenue. The other point of that with this private meeting is to keep in mind with what, with the way that the letter from Matt Borman was worded, saying it's a first of its kind revenue opportunity that will change college sports. Well, that's not private equity, because we've seen private equity deals done. So I don't know what specifically it is, but I think it's safe to say it's not private equity, because if they just go pitch a private equity deal, well, then that's really misleading, because that's not what that was at all. Devin, I want to do one of those genetic methylation tests. Can you post the link, the one you did? Actually, Devin, if you look in the show notes on YouTube, there's the 10X Health link, and that's the link they gave me. It's a 10% off link, and the methylation test is there. It's an easy thing, man. It's a cheek squat. And by the way, just full disclosure, the methylation test is $500, but you do it one time in your life, and you know for the rest of your life what genetic mutations you have and how to supplement. So I did that 3 years ago, primarily for Drew, we cheek swabbed him to see if there was something that we could help supplement with that would help him. But I did it for me and for Erica as well. So that's how I got my supplement protocol that I'm on. So you do that test once, and you don't have to do that one, by the way, the one's linked. If you can find one cheaper somewhere else, by all means, do it. Maybe there's a doctor somewhere that'll do it for you on insurance. But the link I have gives you 10% off of supplements and the test and all that sort of stuff. But that was one of the things that started me on my path, was all my Gary Brecka stuff. And that was sort of the genesis, which is to say, I'll oversimplify this at the risk of boring you. Think about oil. You can't take oil out of the ground, put it into your gas tank. It has to be refined into the usable form, gasoline. Same with our food. We eat food while our body refines the food into the usable form. Well, most of us have a mutation of one of 5 genes or any of 5 genes that affects how our body methylates the raw materials, what we eat. So like if you can't break down broccoli, for example, well then even if you're eating as much broccoli as you want, you're not getting the necessary raw materials because you can't break it down. You can't methylate it. So you have to supplement in a methylated vitamin. So that's what I take. I take a handful of different methylated supplements, so they're already in the usable form. So my body gets exactly what I know I can't get through diet, if that makes sense. Hey, Brian, good morning. From Marksville, to see Rustin and Carr is going to play in the Dome on September. Oh, Carr, I guess, Edna Carr. I did not see that, but that's cool. Really a thrill for young guys to get to go play in the Dome. That's really cool. Gulf South, Dustin Poirier was on Diary of a CEO. I watched it on the ride home from Florida. Talks about his arrest, I did. So I watched it. I love Diary of a CEO, by the way. That's another podcast that I do watch or listen to from time to time. He's had a lot of really interesting health experts on Diary of a CEO, which is kind of how I found it. There was an interview he did maybe 6 months ago with a neurologist. She was brilliant, and it was about cognitive decline and fascinating stuff. So, but yes, I did watch the Poirier episode. Manny, good morning. Are we going to do a show in the Metairie area? Would love to. Just let me know if there's a business owner in Metairie that wants me to come down and do a show. Happily come do it. Shelby, trainer, is there literally anything that when you trade short-term advantage over long-term gain that it works? I'm saying no, still haven't found it for 6 years on this earth. Chance, did you hear Paul Feinbaum say he would rather have a colonoscopy than interview Brian Kelly? I was actually in the room when he said it. He said that last week at Barrett. So one of the sessions at the Barrett Sports Media Conference, it was Paul and Josh Pate were on stage together with a moderator. and they were talking. And Feinbaum mentioned that, and kind of as a thing where when I think he said it was in Saban started going on McAfee every week. And so LSU reached out to Feinbaum's people and said, we want Kelly to go on your show every week. So that's why Kelly did those Monday interviews with Feinbaum while he was the LSU coach. And Paul said he'd rather have a colonoscopy without anesthesia than interview Brian Kelly. It's a good line. Jefferson Parish officials have said they're in talks with the soccer organization to land a permanent team when the Shrine is ready next summer. It's still home for Curtis football. But are they talking about MLS or are they talking about like a minor league team? Man, why y'all talking about my guitar, man? What y'all like? Why do y'all have a problem with my guitar back there? I don't get it. I play. It's not there for decoration. I play. Barry. All right, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. If you haven't done so yet, remember all of our great sponsors. Hey, time's running out, y'all. You want to win a free fortified roof, courtesy of Parish Construction Roofing? We're giving 2 lucky Louisiana homeowners that opportunity. 1 in Greater Baton Rouge area, 1 in Greater New Orleans area. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Keith, let's see. So you talk about the height on one of the LSU incoming freshmen. Why does height matter when it's about balls and strikes? Baseball isn't a physical sport. Yeah, it's about projectability. Okay, so we're talking about Lucas Nawrocki, who's 5'11". So let me give you an example with someone like Derek Curiel. So Curiel's 6'2", 185 pounds. Curiel has elite bat-to-ball skills. What he doesn't have is power. Scouts can look at Derek Curiel and say, okay, we think like he's got some things. Good speed, good glove, average arm, elite bat-to-ball ability. And we think as he grows into his body and goes from being 6'2", 185 to 6'2", 205, the power stroke will come. Okay. So you're betting on the come there with that. With Nawrocki, he's 5'11". So you don't foresee or project any more physical development. Like what he is now is what he's going to be. Like what he is physically at 18 is what he's going to be at 19, 20, 21, 22. So it's not like you're taking a guy at 18 and saying, all right, we're going to get you into our minor league system and continue to develop you physically and throughout your style. And then you're going to become a super high level starter, because that's how professional organizations value pitchers. You're going to pay starters, then high leverage relievers, then situational relievers would be third. So they're trying to project, if you're going to pay someone a high dollar amount, can we project this person as a rotational piece at the next level? And what these teams are basically saying is he doesn't project as a prototype someone that's a frontline starter in Major League Baseball. Like that's what they're trying to project that, right? I mean, look at guys like Paul Skeens, Jacob Mizorowski, even older guys. Talk about Justin Verlander. Someone mentioned yesterday about him retiring, Clayton Kershaw retiring. Like, look at the top pitchers in Major League Baseball. And you say, well, Greg Maddux. And I'll go, well, Greg Maddux being a dominant starter, a Hall of Famer at that size, is an outlier. He's the exception, not the rule. Greg Maddux had the most elite command of anyone we've ever seen, maybe in the history of baseball. But that's an exception, not the rule. So if you're looking at what you're going to invest in, you're going to invest in upside. That's the point. It's a good question. Barry. Carrico family, man, I've watched Nawrocki and Aledo multiple times. Be a pitching around the field. Kid's a stud. Great get. I'm fired up by it. Look, LSU, I think it's important to note, like as a college coach and as a big league scout, you want different things. College coaches want guys that can help their college team win now. Scouts are looking for future big leaguers, right? There's a difference. So like Nawrocki is someone 95 from the left side who can hit with power. He's going to make LSU better immediately. That's awesome. A big league scout looks at him and goes, I don't know that I'm looking at a future rotation piece. Maybe a future, bullpen guy, which you don't spend millions of dollars out of high school for bullpen arms. You spend millions of dollars for William Schmidt, who has a big league breaking ball at 18, who's already throwing 97, who you can project as someone that's going to be a future big league rotation guy, right? You're wasting your breath with this dude. Got something in his head. He's dead set on being right in his view. It's all right. Still going to have the conversation. I get it. I can respect people's points of view, but also, Devin, one of the reasons that I read those comments and go through it is to work through it, right? Like to explain and help people, like, understand, because like otherwise, like Ben made the point about earlier in the show about, one of his first points was got to treat them like, you got to put a salary cap, treat them like professional athletes, how they are. Well, if I didn't read that, I couldn't explain to him, well, they're not athletes. And they've tried to unionize and the courts have stopped that from happening. And so like, that's not an option. And you can't cap, because then you're immediately going to have lawsuits if you try to cap earnings on NIL, because that's not salary, that's name, image, and likeness. You would have to collectively bargain. Well, you can only collectively bargain with employees who unionize. Well, you can't unionize. The courts have said the players can't. So you're stuck in that respect. What are the legalities about getting money from sports books to schools? There aren't. I mean, LSU's had Caesars ads all over. Manny, thoughts of NIL deals for high school players? I thought it's a done deal. You can do NIL deals, and it's a state by state deal. But Louisiana allows high school NIL. That's one of the reasons LSU's collective still exists. The collective does high school NIL. So someone like Lamar Brown, for example, last year, when he committed to LSU, he got upfront money that in high school that was paid to him by the collective. Devin, makes perfect sense. Great analogy. Pretty good at coming up with an analogy, explain things in simple terms. Now I don't remember what analogy I gave. But thank you. Didn't Paul interview BK Weekly? That was the point. Yeah. East Ascension and St. Aug are playing the same day as Ruston and Carr in the Dome. That's cool. Why does Paul dislike Brian Kelly? I don't know that he disliked him. So, Paul, you can go, by the way, if you want to watch that interview, they put all of the Barrett Media sessions on YouTube. I'll share that one with you. Hang on. You can watch my session too when I did the, if you're interested, when I was on one of the panels. Where is it? Here it is. Here. The point Paul was making is that like, and it's the way he's always done his show, was he said in the past, like he wrote in his book, like he would hang up on the president of the United States to put, who's that crazy female woman caller that he had years ago? Phyllis from Olga. It's like if he would hang up on an interview with the president to take a call from Phyllis. That's just how Paul does his show. Like he wants to stir the pot. He wants the lunacy from the callers. Like that's part of his show. Now I don't like that at all. Like I don't do that. I do zero of that. I don't think that's interesting or entertaining. That's me. He's obviously had an enormously successful show for a really long time, which goes to show you there's different strokes and different ways to do things. But that was his point, was that, his conversation with Brian Kelly was sort of mundane and dry. And he would rather, that was the point he was making. He would rather the callers who, are crazy. I'm oversimplifying, but I just posted the link. You can go watch it if you want. Yeah, I'll post mine too if you're interested. Hang on. This is the one I'm in. Copy. This was mine. Paste. All right. Man, look, y'all. We've killed so much time heading straight toward the draft. Draft starts in 34 minutes. All right, let's see if we can get the rest of these comments in. Find one with the zinger. DH Bossy, what's up, man? Good morning. Manage. What?
Time ago does
Time to go. It does work. Okay.
does work.
True. There's also the USL Soccer League. Okay. Nawrocki is next. Jojo Earl. Morning, Matt from the 318. Thank you, Mary. Thanks for the tips on who to watch in the draft. You got it. Thanks for following along. Let's see. I'm sure it's a minor league team. They haven't said either way. I don't think the renovations will add enough seats to host MLS. I also agree. Diary of a CEO is great health-focused pods. I mean, the health pods that I watch, like when Diary of a CEO has health people on, I'll watch. Gary Brecka, obviously, I watch. He's got the Ultimate Human podcast. There's another Dr. Annette Bosworth, who's the keto doctor. I found her stuff is outstanding as well. So when I'm looking for health content, those are sort of the places where I go. Nobody cares about soccer. Devin, I mean, come on, bro. I fundamentally disagree with you. Like, you may not like it. I mean, 50 million people watch the World Cup game against Belgium. Like, it may not be your thing. It's not my thing. But you can't sit there and say nobody likes soccer. Greg Maddox, Drew Brees, elite rare talent, makeup for being short. You know what's interesting about quarterback? What?
It's in the bag.
It's in the bag, and it does work. The short quarterback narrative is changing. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. Now, regardless of Kyler not having great NFL success, Trinidad Chambliss, because as we're seeing the game evolve, the 6'4" big arm statue is no longer the prototype. The prototype is the elusive guy that can make plays evading the rush and out in space. And those dudes aren't necessarily 6'4". So it's interesting how that's starting to change. Look, hey Jeffrey, good morning. Look at Pop Houston. Pop Houston's 5'11". He ain't getting bigger. But does he fit the mold of what Lane Kiffin wants to do? Just did with Trinidad Chambliss. Let's hope so. Their athletes are not employees. You misspoke in what you meant to say. Could sell the naming rights to Tiger Stadium. You know, Jeffrey, even if you sell the naming rights to Tiger Stadium, I still don't think you're talking about enough revenue to make up that gap. I mean, that would be probably the biggest. I mean, you've already sold the jersey patches, and I know that was a multi-year deal totaling low 8 figures. Not 8 figures annually, totaling 8 figures, multi-year contract. So, what?
Okay, question.
What do you want me to press?
I'm not thinking about in chimney toy.
Elmo sings Jingle Bells what?
In chimney
In chimney. Oh.
toy.
Elmo sings Jingle Bells in chimney toy. There it is. He's crazy. Let's see, those high school games of the Dome are to honor Ed Daniels, inspire the city. I love that. Drew, you know what's really interesting to me is Drew watches a lot of Ed Daniels videos. What a great man Ed Daniels was. Ed was, and for those who don't know, Ed was a longtime TV sports reporter in New Orleans, who very tragically passed a couple of years ago, became ill when the Saints were in training camp in California. Mrs. Benson used her plane to fly him home, and he died here, or in New Orleans, I should say. But Ed was, a couple things I'll always remember about Ed Daniels. Number one, as a young broadcaster, Ed was so complimentary of me and encouraging. And I'll always believe this, that in media, I've always believed there's two types of people, and this is I've now been in media for 23 years. I've got a long sample size, working in a lot of different places with a lot of different people. There are two types of people. People that see everybody as competition and would step on your face to get wherever they want to go. And people who realize wherever they are professionally, they had help getting there and they're willing to pay it forward. I try to think of myself as the former, not the latter. I'm sorry, as the latter, not the former. I'll always try to help anybody. I don't think we're in competition with each other. I'm as competitive a human as you'll meet, but I believe there's abundance in the world and there's success for everybody. And Ed was one of those guys who was kind and generous and encouraging, and that. And number two, in press conferences, I'm not sure there was anyone who asked more thought-provoking questions than Ed Daniels. He was outstanding at going into a press conference with a plan, knowing what he wanted to ask and how he wanted to ask it in order to get the person being interviewed to give a thoughtful reply. So shout out to Ed Daniels, man. He was one of the good guys and a great reporter. Ben out from Harvey Updike. Whew. Chad. Oh, nice. Thank you, man. Okay. Okay. Got me so we go so Erica and I, and then our friends Keith and Denane. Erica and Denane, their birthdays are a week apart. And so every summer we do a New Orleans trip, a couple's trip to New Orleans. We go to dinner at Commanders. And Tyler, who worked as a learner at Commanders, used to help us get our reservation. And so I texted him. He said he's not there anymore, but I guess Chad helped out. So I'll DM you, Chad, or if you wouldn't mind, shoot me a DM so I have your account. That'd be great, man. Thank you very much for the help. We're looking forward to being down there in a few weeks. Hey, Matt, I asked about the sportsbook funds, wondering, is there any world where you could see something like a sin tax being required to go to schools in each state in the hunt for more revenue? Well, how do you distribute that though, Matt? Like, so it's not a terrible idea. I'm not trying to shoot down any creative idea, but remember, like LSU isn't the only state school. So if you have something like you're suggesting, well, there's LSU and there's UL Lafayette and UL Monroe and Tech and McNeese and Nichols and Southern and Grambling and LSU New Orleans. Now, I mean, how do you distribute it among all of them? And is it enough? You know? In Matt's fantasy, has a middle seat between Gary Breck and Gary V on a flight to Australia. No, that's definitely not a fantasy. If I'm flying to Australia, I'm getting one of those like first class pods with like my own door, my own like bathroom, my own TV, sink, bed. Like I'm at middling on a flight to Australia. That's not a fantasy in any way. You should know that about me. Hey, Jeffrey, why is media days in Tampa seems odd? I agree with you. Because Florida is in the footprint and they're trying to move it around. I'm talking about here in Louisiana, most people don't care about soccer here. Got it. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, Devin, because there's more people that care about it than you think. But not that care about soccer more than LSU or Saints are the things that I prioritize. Put the fire protection system in the new hangar at Hammond Airport for the Saints team plane. Why is the Saints team plane in Hammond? Is there a way you could require royalties paid for betting rights? Royalties for betting rights. Royalties to who? You mean like if you bet on LSU, you pay LSU royalties? I mean, teams don't control that market. I do Commander's Pest Control every Tuesday morning for 7 years. That's awesome. Awesome. That's a great place. We love going there. The great thing about Commander's, world class and famous as that restaurant is, I was stunned how cost effective. You would think, this 5-star Michelin whatever restaurants. It's very reasonable. The pricing is very reasonable at Commanders. Hey, Dalen, what's up? Every time Drew walks in on Locked on LSU, I expect him to say like he does on here. Well, every time he walks in on Locked on LSU, you'll probably notice there's a jump cut because I try to pause it real quick and then I don't move. So when I was talking about Lucas Nawrocki yesterday is when he walked in. And so I had my hand up like this. So I hit pause and I just stayed like this until I was like, Drew, get out, close the door, get out, Drew. Because he'll come right up to me, Daddy say, blah, blah, blah. He'll do his whole thing. And so I'll just sit here frozen and then I'll hit resume and then I'll pick up. But if you notice the Lucas Nawrocki cut, you'll see Drew walk in and then a jump cut and he's out. So anyway. Let's see. Devin, can I end the show with a prayer? Sure. Jesus, when you return, may we be found safely in your name and our sins covered by your blood you shed on the cross. Amen. Amen. Jeffrey, have you had other opportunities to further your career? What do you mean? Like to leave Baton Rouge? Yes. Quite a few, actually. But there's it's an interesting industry because it used to be that the way you would advance is you would market hop. It's not that dissimilar from coaching, right? Where you start off as a GA at LSU and then you go and you're like the running backs coach at Nichols, and then you're the running backs coach at South Carolina, and then you're the offensive coordinator at Toledo, and then you're the offensive coordinator at North Carolina, and then you're the head coach at Tulane, and then you're the head coach at Arkansas. Right? I mean, that's how you jump. Now, with the digital era and everything, it's just changed so much that hopping market to market to do terrestrial radio in a specific market isn't always necessarily the best path. In Baton Rouge, I have a much bigger audience on AFR and Locked On and everything I do than a lot of top 5 markets. And if I left to go someplace, I'd be taking a pay cut. So it's like, where am I going? I'm going to move my family to Atlanta to talk about the Falcons and the Hawks to take less money. Why? No, I'll stay here and live in my hometown where my family's here, my wife's family's here. I get to talk about the Saints and LSU and teams I love and make a good living. And yeah, where am I going? DJ, my kids have been playing soccer since 2013. Have one in college playing, one at Dominican. You may like the interview I did, or the video I did yesterday. It's over the last decade, the number of high school kids playing football is down 15%. The percentage of kids 13 and under playing football is down 50%. And you've seen an increase in kids ages 6 to 17 saying soccer is their favorite sport. So what you can see is the projectability about how those young people, when you fast forward another 10, 20 years, how they become the majority and they like soccer more than they like football. Jim, is Drew still on the What Up G? No, still on What Up G. I don't think Matt would be happy in a different market covering different teams. Matt's made it. Why would I want to leave? Well, program director is not my dream job. I'll tell you that much. That's all that is, putting out fires every day. But I love Guarantee, and I love 104.5 ESPN, which is a station I've been since the literal first. I mean, I was the first person on the station. So a lot of my career is invested in that station. So I want to see it thrive for the future. I mean, long after I'm gone. Let's see. Watching the cold plunge this morning. Love it. America will be good at men's soccer someday. I think we're good now. Not winning the World Cup, but I mean, to make it to the round of 16, to win the first 2 matches, really punt the third match. Pretty good. Matt's dream job, head of manship, no. Although, Ben, I will tell, I don't mind, I'll tell you this. So I have talked to Dean Bissell, Kim Bissell, who's the dean of the manship school, and she has asked me to come in as like a guest professor and like teach a class a semester, which I may consider doing that. It would just absolutely depend on time, schedule, commitment, all that sort of stuff. But anyway. All right, let's go. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post as always. Sponsors, linked in the description on YouTube and on podcasts. If you're on podcast, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. Draft starting here in 17 minutes. Let's go get it, y'all. We'll do a recap on how the day goes. So thanks for being here. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for listening, watching, commenting. Appreciate y'all very much. What else was I going to say? I forgot. So y'all just have an awesome day. Much love, everybody. Peace.